brought Lean Six Sigma to Nasdaq, it was really to find a way to address a change in mindset and a process, a mechanism, a toolkit for actually making change in a way that was going to be effective and cost-effective in terms of the process.
When I was picked for Greenbelt, I had just started on the client order specialist team, and Jess came in and she has this energy and it's contagious. I think it's given me a framework for problem solving. You find things that you're frustrated with, but you're not really given the tools to do anything about it. I think this program has allowed me to have a toolbox of things that I can use at my disposal.
The Lean Six Sigma is such a good tool because it's so structured, so everyone can talk about problems in the same way.
I think it was a great discipline getting a cross-functional team together, thinking through what's the problem at hand, how do we prove it's a real problem, how do we measure our progress when we put solutions together, really getting agreements across the groups.
It helped us break the work up into digestible chunks and moving in a very structured fashion quickly to get to those results. I think this is just a dramatic change.
We had ideas of what we needed to solve for, but going through this process, hearing from the customer, it really allowed us to see, okay, what is the real problem, and then what are some things that we want to consider to solve for the problem.
We all knew that something has to be improved, but we didn't have the framework. Now it's here, so I'm glad.
What Lean Six Sigma have given us is a way to move forward. So if you have a challenge, you can solve it.
Analysts and specialists took ownership into their own hands and started to question existing routines, started to remove unnecessary steps, and streamline processes with their own resources.
A lot of times we go into project work with assumptions around knowing what the root cause is. We saw this recently with HR onboarding. Their project that they had run previously was focused on creating tools for new hires. What we found in our data was that something like 35% of new hires did not have the basic equipment that they needed day one in order to do their job. So you can build all the best tools in the world, but if I don't have a laptop because I can't log in to see those tools, it's not super helpful to me.
And what's interesting is that we had tried to accomplish some of this in the past and didn't get very far. Having this process allowed us to really get a lot done in a short amount of time.
What we saw was that on average, it took us about 2 weeks to fulfill equipment successfully. Which means we had this red zone that anyone that came in within 2 weeks, it was highly likely we were going to fail at their equipment delivery. The team started coming up with some creative solutions, and someone finally said, hey, why are we ordering our equipment all the way at the end of the process? Why don't we flip it so that the ordering comes as one of the first things we do, not one of the last things we do? And that has a potential there of saving us something like $600,000 a year in lost employee productivity.
What's been most gratifying to me is how it's impacted individual associates who embrace the training. They actually were given the tools and the empowerment to actually go find solutions that would enable us to achieve our financial targets in a way that protected the customer experience. Many of them use this as an opportunity to hone their skills, and most, if not all, of the ones who were very involved in the program were promoted into more senior roles.
The program for me has been exceptional. It's structured, it's relevant, and well thought through. I've now run 3 Kaizen events, all of which have identified both hard and soft savings, running up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Everyone was excited because we had an opportunity not only just learn about Lean Six Sigma methodology, but actually we could practice it with our own project. One of my colleagues got inspired, and by now we have 4 or 5 processes improved.
We were able to reduce costs by $10 million over 3 years, and we did that while improving the client experience through a much higher NPS and CSAT scores. We reduced the number of impairments by 2/3. We had far fewer escalations to senior management, and we actually even improved the employee engagement scores as well.
Them embracing it outside of GCS, it's because it's making an impact.